End of last hour, I read the text of Representative Pete Hoekstra's fundraising letter sent after the Detroit terrorist attack. The gist is, hey, look, if you don't want this happening again and you don't want the Obama-Pelosi leftist to have their way, elect me governor, send me $25, $50, $100, or even $250 to my campaign. Again, I ask the question, politically, is it a smart move? Is it something that, and this is why I'm teetering, is it something that will whip up the base of people that are dissatisfied with the Obama administration? Sure it will. Unfortunately, in this particular case, the president didn't have a whole heck of a lot to do with it. He really just didn't. But I mean, if you want to use that as a fund, go right at it. If you can raise money, it's a good op-ed. It's well written. But I don't know if I would have asked for money. I don't know if I would have used that incident as a fundraising effort. Now, I'll take your calls on it. You heard me read it last hour, 382-4280, toll-free statewide, 877-382-4280. You heard me read it, Shawnee. What do you think? Turn your stomach? I mean, I can see, because it talked a lot about the things that you think are strengths of the Obama administration.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I heard, Mr. Hoekstra there talking about, his how important it is to keep Americans safe and so forth, I couldn't help but hear in the distance a heart-stirring rendition of America the Beautiful and see an American flag flapping in the breeze as he asks for some money for his campaign. But, speaking of funding to help keeping us safe here in America, I noticed in his letter he didn't mention the June 24th vote in the House, in which Transportation Security Administration funding measure, which was contained in the 2010 appropriations bill, voted down.
I agree.
By the same Mr. Hoekstra.
Yep.
Included $4 billion for screening operations, including $1.1 billion for funding, holy cow, explosives detection systems. That could have helped. I know. I guess I was struggling to keep my nose above the hypocrisy.
I pointed it out yesterday that the Republicans were as much in this as the Democrats are.
This also from a guy who Twitters secret locations in Iraq and also basically outs a covert surveillance operation because of the Major Hassan thing.
Let's be fair. He was here. You don't agree with him politically.
That's not political. Those are mistakes. Those are flubs.
You don't agree with him politically. He was here.
Yeah, he was.
You can see how he can get elected as a politician.
He's a nice guy.
He is.
I just,
And he and I don't agree on everything. Right. And we didn't at that point in time, and we don't now. I'm just wondering if this is enough to raise money, and if this is something that you want to put your campaign knee deep into as a fundraising tactic. I'm wondering from a sheer political standpoint, is this a smart move?
You know what this is? This is his Howard Dean scream moment. Yeah!
Do you really think so? Yeah. I don't think so. Yeah! I don't think so. Do you have that if you had that handy, I could use that right now. I don't see it, Shawnee. I don't know if it is. I really don't. I mean, long term, you may be right. Will it raise him money? Not exactly sure. And that's where I hesitate. Now, according to the Grand Rapids Press, candidate Rick Schneider criticized opponent Pete Hoekstra for citing attempted terrorist attack in a fundraising letter. His quote here from the Grand Rapids Press, and I'm going to use the quoting fingers in the live streaming video. It's extremely disappointing to us. It's extremely disappointing that the congressman would use a potentially tragic incident to raise money for his political campaign, said Schneider spokesman Jane Suski. In these troubling times, words can't describe how sad it is to see an attempt to politically capitalize on a failed terrorist attack just 3 days after it happened. Unfortunately, Congressman Hoekstra's Washington style of politics isn't the answer for our lack of leadership in Lansing. It's from the Schneider campaign. I don't know what Mike Cox has said about it. There's not much out there yet. And maybe he's just ignoring it, to be completely honest. I don't know.
Or maybe he's taking in the advice of, was it Abraham Lincoln? Says, better to keep your mouth shut and have people think you a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt.
Or maybe he's the leader, so why bother? I mean, Cox is, as far as Republicans for governor, last poll I saw, Cox had a lead. So there's no reason. There's no reason to even mess with it. Just leave it alone.
Exactly. Just let Hoekstra hang himself.
I don't. Do you really see him as hanging himself?
Yeah.
See, I don't. I see with folks that are dissatisfied, and this is where I'm mixed. I don't think that this is a good opportunity to use it as a fundraising effort for folks that are dissatisfied with the Obama administration and the Granholm administration and the lack of leadership in Lansing. I see it as effective. That's why I'm mixed.
I see this as part of a pattern of blunders, which is only going to intensify as we get closer to the actual election, when there's more scrutiny. I can remind people, of course, like I said, about twittering the secret location in Iraq and about the idea that when he was talking about Major Hassan, he basically blew a surveillance operation. The guy was communicating with other people because maybe there was surveillance going on. These blunders are going to be highlighted, accentuated, shown as a pattern, and I'll bet you that you will see other cases on the campaign trail where there's going to be foot and mouth disease, where there's going to be contradiction and hypocrisy, and I think eventually he's a nice guy.
They're politicians. They're always hypocrisy. Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter.
Well, then some people hide it better than others, and he's not a good hider.
He gives you his opinion. He sat here, and he and I mixed it up over, I think, the Gitmo terrorist and Standish. I mean, you give him... That's our problem with politicians. We want someone who's honest, but then when he's honest, well, it's a blunder and he screwed it up. No.
What I'm talking about is not telling the truth. I'm talking about like twittering your location in Iraq. That's not like some noble telling of the truth.
That's being blunt.
Well, and then
being honest. We ask them to be honest, and then when they're honest, we say, well, you can't do that. That's screwing up.
Loose lips sink ships.
Boy, we had to go all the way back to that.
Hey, tested and true. Still effective today.